Greetings and welcome to another episode of His Will for Your Life. I am your host, Sherry Levon Harris, and I have joining me tonight is Valerie Ballard, who will speak on the topic of dating after divorce. And we know that dating after divorce can be a daunting prospect for many, but it can also be an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. In this podcast tonight, we will explore some of those challenges and opportunities of dating after divorce. Stay tuned. Please like, tag, and share, and we'll be right
back. His will for your life with Sherry Harris. This is your weekly Wednesday 7 p.m. podcast. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Informative, hot topic, testimony, interviews, along with your weekly guests and more. And now here's your host, Sherry Harris.
Greetings and welcome back. Again, I'm your host, Sherry Levon Harris, and I am here with Valerie Ballard. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Miss Sherry. How are you?
I am well. I'm glad to have you on tonight.
And thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to give you this opportunity just to share with our viewing audience who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, my name is Valerie Ballard. I am a substitute teacher. I work in the elementary school field. I love it. I am a parent of two children. My oldest son is 27. My youngest daughter is 11. And I am, pretty much on the verge of, the life of after marriage.
Yes.
And just exploring gracefully, being now a single parent. I was before and was married, and now I'm back to being a single parent again. So just pretty much in the prospect of being one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that feel, being one?
Well, with the circumstances that I had gone through in my marriage, it has been more, it's a bittersweet type of way that I feel. Mm-hmm. On one side, on the other side, it is gratifying.
Okay.
And the reason it is gratifying to me is because of the peace that I feel. The one thing that I've always stuck to is that my home and my environment will be in a peaceful place.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're really determined to hold on to that fact, it does take a great amount of prayer. It does take a great amount of trusting in yourself, trusting in your instincts. If things feel okay, and and you feel in a comfortable place, then you keep it in a comfortable place. Mm-hmm. But once things start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, you have a right to address those things. And I've learned to just make sure that I express my feelings, not to hold back, and what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, especially during my marriage. And the prospect and the result of that was that it was best for me to move on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And having moved on, what inspired you to start dating again after divorce?
Well, when I started to think about dating, what I realized is that now I'm at the point in my life and in my season
Mm-hmm.
where I can um, I can choose the type of individual that I would like to interact with. Um, and because of that, it's not being overly selective.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that point now in my life where I don't have to settle. You
Oh.
know, I'm 55. I don't have to settle
Mm-hmm.
for being an advisor
Mm-hmm.
anymore, or being I teach, but I teach children.
Right.
I don't want to be in the position where I have to work with teaching an adult
Mm.
how to how to just on a daily basis how to show respect. If it's something that you are not interested in, then that's fine, because now I can just continue moving on. So dating after divorce doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find someone that is compatible
Mm.
with thoughts and to your interests.
Okay.
It just means that you have to take your time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as after divorce that things are over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Still continue being the queen that you are. Treat yourself like your queen.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to really put your crown on and wear it well. And that's basically what I do. And I'm glad that I do that,
Mm-hmm.
because I, I can just no longer be in a position where I have to settle, especially now that there's just me.
Okay.
hmm I don't
Very.
have to settle. Yeah. And it's important to, if it's something that you want in another individual,
Mm-hmm.
be persistent with that. Don't say, okay, well, you know, he quote unquote may, even if he shows 80%,
Mm-hmm.
I can compromise with that. You
Okay.
can't compromise when you show 20 and I have to teach you 80. Now we have a problem.
Yes.
And actually, and the problem would be me, because I would be settling.
Mhm.
I'm not doing that anymore. So,
Especially at our age, right?
especially at our age, I like to laugh. I want to be able to, share my company with someone that I can laugh with. And it doesn't, and laughing and just, I mean, whether it's over a cup of coffee, over just a quiet talk or anything like that, I don't believe that's asking for too much.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start seeing any signs that someone, you know, you don't want to get into the position where, okay, I hope, that during this conversation that this person is going to gather my interest, just start talking and seeing, what you can, really get this person to know you, and this person,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, try to see what happens. But if things are just iffy, just move along gracefully. That's what I say.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
How did you approach dating differently after going through divorce compared to when you were younger?
I take more time. I definitely take more time to not, because again, like I said, I have an 11-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as I'm in this season of my life,
Mm-hmm.
um, I do not, if I have, if for me, dating would involve, and it does involve, um, meeting someone away from my home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give out pertinent information right now about where I live. It's going to take some time. I'm going to have to really be comfortable with you in order for me to say, okay, well, you can pick me up from my home. But other than that, I in comparison to how it was when I was in my 20s. No, I would meet the person, someplace else, someplace in public, what have you, even if it's at a Starbucks, but I'm just really, like I said, with me being keeping my peace and wanting my peace,
Mm-hmm. That's
You
so
know, my home is my sacred place.
absolutely
Yes.
nothing like peace.
Nothing like it.
Mm,
Nothing like it.
It's too costly.
Yeah.
So, and if it has to cost me my peace,
Right.
what?
Then it's the costs pretty much change, and the
Mm,
dynamics change, and
absolutely.
again, not really don't settle for settling.
Hmm.
Just don't do that. It's not worth it. I've learned that. And I think a lot of times when people divorce,
Hmm.
you ask yourself, okay, well, the first thing, of course, is to, if when you're engaging in conversation with someone,
Hmm.
or thinking about, your former spouse, as far as, okay, was my, did my spouse used to say these things?
Hmm.
Did my spouse used to have these particular mannerisms and everything? And you don't want to compare,
Right.
but you do have to be prepared
Hmm.
for what this other person that you just pretty much just engaging in conversation with, whether it be, a date, going out or over the phone, because you can date over the phone too. You know what I mean? I believe that's, you know what I mean? That's a good way, because you want to gather in conversation. You can FaceTime over the phone. It can happen. You can have dinner at home and they can have dinner where they are, and you can just be conversating and with FaceTiming and everything like that, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and I really do I don't want to be in a position where I have so many individuals that I date.
Hmm.
you know, I would, because like I said, I'm in that season now in my life where if I just met one person in particular
Hmm.
that is okay, then and we're just exclusively dating, I would settle for that. Because to me, when you're dating, um, you're just engaging, you're just spending time and sharing your thoughts and everything. Like you're sharing your aspirations, you're sharing your future goals, what you like. And it feels good to have someone to be a sounding board,
Hmm.
that they want to actually listen and they want to encourage you, and then you encourage that person,
Hmm.
especially if it's heartfelt. That's the comfort that I look for when it comes to you know to dating, and then just not, but again, and that's just me.
Hmm.
That's just me. There may be some people who say, well, my goal, it made it, well, again, we're going into the year 2024.
Hmm.
Some people may say, well, I would like to, go on a dating site. I've never been on a dating site before. I'm an old fashioned person. I sort of just like running into people at random, and,
Hmm.
and not being afraid to ask if
Hmm.
they would, like to go out and have, a cup of coffee or something like that, not being afraid of the rejection, you
Hmm.
know. So I'm an adult now, I'm not going to cry or be upset or what have you. But if it's someone that does interest me, yeah, I'll take a chance. I'll ask.
Wow.
A compliment, you know what I mean? If the person is nice looking, or if, if they say, if the person has a nice smile,
Mhm.
that's something that I'm actually able to do now,
Okay.
and be okay with it.
Right.
You say I'm married, say, okay, well, tell her congratulations, and I keep it going.
Mm.
Yeah,
I check them fingers first.
exactly, exactly, and
Yeah.
that's important too.
Hmm.
Check the fingers first, definitely, definitely. But yeah, I could be at Target and just, you're walking around and you see someone. I always make sure I smile. I always make sure I smile. You know what I mean? And I do that. I'm not trying to say, to be like a billboard or anything like that, but, be happy with who you are as an individual. You know what I mean? Because, divorce hurts.
Mm.
I mean, it really does. And there are scars that have to be healed with time, emotional scars.
Mhm.
And it's not easy. And sometimes when you are at that point where you're divorcing, you sort of feel like at one point, okay, well, is this it for me? You know what I mean? Will I never find, you know, someone who can actually just take, take interest in us? You know what I mean? Um, there are good people out there.
Mhm.
And I speak that for myself because I know that I'm a good person. I know that, and I know what I want in a suitable mate. So I have to take my time because I don't want to be. I mean, I'm not Elizabeth Taylor. I'm not trying to be married multiple times. You know.
Oh my goodness. Right.
Yes. Hmm.
Challenges did you face when getting back into the dating scene after divorce?
Um. mm, Again, being more open about asking questions, not being, especially when you're first meeting someone, it's like, okay, well, you're not doing an interview,
Mhm.
but just asking, do you have any children? And
Mhm.
um, you know, what are some of your what are some of your fears? You
Mhm.
know, um, just being honest about asking things just to get to the core value of your interests as far as okay, because there are some people like I'm not, I don't smoke.
Mhm.
So if there's someone that I'm out with and
Mhm.
they're smoking and what have you, I mean, it's not that it's a deal breaker for me,
Mhm.
but if I don't share the fact that I really don't, you know, I'm just that's just, I don't really care for, men that smoke, it's, you know, if they won't know, the only reason why they won't know is because I wouldn't share that with them. So, and I'm not telling them, oh, I don't want you to smoke. It's just that it's just it's not something that I would prefer to be around someone or someone who, they drank over socially.
Mhm.
That's a deal breaker for me. You
Mhm.
know, if you want to, have a social drink and what have you, then that's fine. But if you have to drink 2 or 3, 4 times a day, it's it's a deal breaker for me. You know what I mean? So I learned to back off
Mhm.
and just, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
not to
That's smoke.
even think about pursuing, or wanting to be pursued.
Uh-huh.
You have to put the stop sign up when it's necessary. You have to put it up right away. And I think that's one thing that I have learned
Mhm.
that when I was younger, dating earlier,
Mhm.
I I settled for a lot of things, you
Mhm.
know, and I just really wouldn't say anything about it, like, oh well, hopefully they'll stop, you know, maybe they'll see that I don't do it and they'll realize that, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do that around her and what have you. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You know what I mean? So then I ended up just being more submissive to just settling. And
Mhm.
I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. So I just take my time now when it comes to, you know, meeting someone. I don't do any comparisons,
Mhm.
as far as, well, this person has some of the habits that my husband had.
Mhm.
I do not feel that all men are the same. I feel the majority of them have certain habits that
Mhm.
are as far as, you know, a male, was seeking a female, but then they have to mature,
Mhm.
and when they mature and they're looking for someone that they can actually want to share their time with,
Mhm.
they'll do that once their mind is made up.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times it's with women, we nurture.
Mhm.
We have accepted a lot. It's just like when you're caring for a child and the child you nurtured that child throughout their, the entire life from birth until, until they, into the teenage years and everything like that.
Mhm.
And then you've done all of this nurturing, and
Mhm.
then you hope that as they go, that they've absorbed what you have taught them. And sometimes they make some mistakes, and you're like, oh, okay, well, why would you even do that when we both know, you weren't raised that way,
Mhm.
but they have to find their way.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about, you know, if you see someone, you go after them. Do you think it's okay for women to do that, or are you? Well, evidently you're not. But I like for the male to be the suitor.
Mhm.
A lot of women are into this approaching a male. And I
Mhm.
many women do that, and some got married from doing that. I,
Yeah,
I'm a
I
little.
think it's healthy to I think it's healthy from what I have done with my experience.
Mhm.
Because I was used to be really, really like just shy.
Mhm.
And it has helped me to build my self-esteem.
Mhm.
If I see someone, first of all, they have to be by themselves. Second of all, I have to check the fingers. I have to check the hands, you
Right.
know. And if I see, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
something of interest, and if they look interesting enough to me, I won't approach them. But if I'm walking near them or walking past them, I would, would actually give them a compliment,
Right.
or say hello, how are you?
Right.
And I mean, I've had gentlemen come up to me in the grocery store, and they're asking me questions about, I'm trying to buy this. What do you think? And then I just, we just engage in conversation, and it doesn't mean it's a date, but at least it was a nice little meeting and what have you, because it made me feel like, okay, well,
What
you
stores
still
this I could go? No.
I've I've run into folks who are Kroger and I mean, it just come up to me and say, excuse me, I'm gonna be cooking this tonight. You think I should use this? And because I'm adding this and this. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking in my head, God, he's really nice looking, you know what I mean? Is he married? So I'm trying not to look, you know what I mean? But I'm checking those fingers out,
Yes.
you know. And that, not to be overly, not really, I don't think that's being flirtatious. To me, I think it's just being me and being friendly, and having that conversation and everything. Because I try to imagine what men go through to
True.
build up the nerve
True.
to come up to a female
Mhm.
and literally just, start conversations and
Mhm.
just to ask, just pretty much ask you out, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I try to help them meet them halfway, you know?
You're hilarious.
Yeah, and it's fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun to engage in conversation,
Mhm.
you know, um, with different men. Because again, I mean, like I said, divorce is not it's not an easy thing, but
Mhm.
sometimes it has to be something that we have to do,
Right.
and it's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. It doesn't mean that you failed in your marriage. It doesn't mean that you failed as a woman.
Mhm.
It just means that unfortunately you're just not equally yoked. You know what I mean? And at one point you were,
Mhm.
and things just seem to change.
Mhm.
And I don't think that and I know there are some women who really try to, to save their marriage. I was one of them.
Mhm.
I really did. I did everything that I could possibly do. I was exhausted.
Wow.
I mean, and what was going on was that through that exhaustion, it
Mhm.
started to show in my day-to-day life.
Mm.
It started to show in my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
It started to show in my spiritual health.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling more alone, and I knew that God was there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, God has always been there, but at the same time, I was feeling just like I couldn't reach God. That's how I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew. I said, "Well, God," I said, "I know you're here. I
Mm-hmm.
know you're here." And and it's true that God is not going to put more on us than we can bear. And once I really started thinking about that,
Mm-hmm.
I had to start, you know,
Mm-hmm.
making some decisions on what to do, because we are not put on this earth to be abused in any type of way by another human being.
Absolutely.
Um, and I mean, like, and whether it be mental, emotional, spiritual, or
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately physical,
Mm-hmm.
we are not built
Mm-hmm.
to be manufactured,
Mm. Yeah.
for that to happen, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I know that that wasn't of God, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You know what I mean? I mean, women are precious.
Yes.
We are like the most, and that's something that men should know. You know what I mean? We're the ones that build the earth, because we bring life into this world.
We
We're
are
the only ones that are able to do it.
we are
So if
fear.
you have a man that doesn't appreciate that,
Uh-huh.
there should be, a man should, especially if a man who wants to be in life with the woman, to
Mm-hmm.
understand that, you know what I mean? No, she is the most precious commodity on
Mm-hmm.
this earth. It is my duty, my strength, and my honor
Mm-hmm.
to uphold her. You know what I mean? A man is supposed to show that type of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that's the type of man that when I got married that I thought that I had. And maybe there was a portion of him at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
that was showing that leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But when circumstances change and they're not supposed to, you're supposed to be able to, what can we do
Mm-hmm.
to to make this marriage work? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when if someone on the other end just says, "Well, this is just who I am,"
Mm-hmm.
I accept it, but I have to move on.
Right. Right.
I have to move on. Yeah.
How did you deal with any lingering emotions or fears from your past marriage while dating?
I did. I talked to God a lot,
Well,
a lot. I mean, it's so funny because my daughter would be like, "Mommy, who are you talking to?"
mm,
But I let it out. I
mm-hmm.
let it out. You know what I mean? I go into, my prayer place, and I just talk. I just talk. Actually let it out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think it helps me, for me to just let it out
Mm-hmm.
rather than to pray on the inside. I have to talk to God. I need to, you know what I mean? I mean, God is not deaf, but
Mm-hmm.
I need to just let it out. And when I let it out, I started noticing that I was feeling much better when I was just talking to God about, that right now I'm scared. You know what I mean? Right now, we're going from, a two-parent household,
Mm-hmm.
two-income household.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're down to one parent, one income, and the dynamics for me
Mm-hmm.
have to, I have to build that courage
Mm-hmm.
to pursue a
Okay.
lot of goals and aspirations that I had during my marriage. And now I have to pretty much, okay, it's time for me to start putting that stamp down on what I have to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, these things that I wanted to do while I was married, now I have to do them while I'm not married.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is recently divorced and looking to start dating
Take your time,
again?
talk to God. It is never too late.
Hmm.
It doesn't and don't rush. Don't rush into it, because you're not going to, you're not really going to gain anything
Hmm.
by rushing into feeling like, okay, well, because you need to take that time to heal.
Hmm.
That's the one thing you have to do. You have to make sure that you are healing, because again, like I said, divorce is not, it's not something that's easy. Even if it's a, a happy divorce, even if you're like, ooh, I'm just glad it's over with and everything like that, you
Hmm.
still need time to heal. You still need time to get to know who you are, because when you actually are ready today, and the thing about it is, it can happen at any time. Like I said, you could be in the grocery store, just minding your own business, pushing your cart, and the next thing you know, somebody's coming up to you and saying, "Excuse me, I'm trying to cook this particular dinner and everything like that, and I need to add, I'm going to add this and I want to add that." And you're talking to them and you just get in conversation and say, "Okay, well, you have a really nice smile and everything like that. Are you married?" You know, and you're like, "Oh,
I get
no."
tired. I'm
And
like,
then it begins.
right. I get
Yeah,
tongue tied.
yeah,
I have no clue what's going on, especially if they're handsome. I'm nervous. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, but I think that's the one thing for me that helps me get over my nerves, because
Mhm.
again, I put myself in the gentleman's shoes. Like, okay, I can't imagine, you
Yes.
know, when you have to step out and say, okay, well, let me go and, just at least engage in conversation. And I've noticed that. And it doesn't always have to be that, you meet that person and next thing you're gonna go out on a date. I mean, I just feel good at the fact that somebody came and asked me, some advice on how to cook some food, and it happened to be a very, nice person that appeared to be nice, and because again, you can't tell the quality of a man just by looking at him from the outside.
Absolutely.
So it's good to get to know that person.
Mhm.
And when you're ready to date, again, like I said,
Mhm.
don't be so eager to, to let that, tell that person, well, I'm an old fashioned girl. I need someone to come pick me up and everything like that at my house. No, take your time, because that's your castle.
Mhm.
That's your peaceful place, you
Mhm.
know, and don't let that be a place where, because if things just don't work out, you want to be able to just not answer the phone if that person, or block their number. You know what I mean? You can't block your house.
Absolutely. So scary now that
No,
with this Google map, it can just zoom right in on your home.
exactly, exactly. And that's supposed to be your, your place of peace. When you put that key in that door, that's your place of peace. And
Mhm.
if that makes me, if and which, if that makes me kind of paranoid about letting people know where I live, then, well, if that's what you think, then I can understand that. But
Mhm.
it's more than me that I have to protect, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and even if I didn't have children, I
Mhm.
still have to protect myself,
Mhm.
because again, just take your time.
Yes. Yes.
Take
Yes.
your time. I mean, because look, these men aren't, they're not disappearing like dinosaurs. They're still here, you know. They're still around, and and again, there are some. I mean, I don't give. I'm just not gonna lose my faith on. I don't want to say finding the one, because again, it takes learning about yourself, and it takes that person learning about themselves, and it takes you learning about each other. Like, okay,
Mhm.
'cause some people are more verbal, as far as more direct,
Mhm.
and they may realize that, okay, I realize that when, when my my spouse is talking to me, or when my person is talking to me and they're expressing to me that, you're coming off so strong, it makes me feel uncomfortable, and you're just not that way. You know what I mean? But if you're coming off strong about your opinions and everything like that, it's a way to do it. If you don't address that because that's the way you feel, that person won't know. Men don't read our minds. You know how they are. They don't read our minds.
No, they don't.
They don't. They don't. So we have to, it's our responsibility to share with them what our thoughts are. And I think that's the one thing that we sort of, take a back seat to, that we're start feeling kind of a little bit intimidated about, okay, well, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to scare them off. I'm going to say what I need to say. And that doesn't mean that I'm coming off as a strong person, but I want to be organic with what I'm feeling right now, especially if I'm going to allow you to be in my circle. I have to be organic about what I'm going to share with you. I'm not going to hold those things, back, And I think that was one of the problems that I experienced in my, in my marriage. At first, I just settled, okay, well, maybe eventually they'll stop. You talk to God and say, well, Lord, please let them, release that habit and everything like that. And, and here I am. And, in the line of divorce, and it's okay. It's okay. My husband is he's my former husband. He has a good heart, but yeah, he's for me is more. It's like I said, you make a good friend. For me, but it's for me. You just don't make the best of a good husband. Again, whoever, whatever woman, because everybody's different, but I know how I am too. And I'm glad that I'm the way that I am. I really am. I've learned and grown, and I'm in a good season in my life right now. And I just don't want baggage. I don't want, I want to be able to laugh. I got 45 years ago, I'll be 100. And it's like, okay, I want to laugh. And hey, maybe I can make it to 108. Maybe I can make it to 110,
120.
Exactly. But I want to be laughing while I'm doing it.
Absolutely. Are you ready to commit to someone again?
I am ready to be open and be open to commit. Yeah, I'm ready to be open to commit.
What all did you learn about yourself through this process of dating after divorce?
That I still have a lot of love to give. That's the one thing that I really learned about myself, that I still have a lot of love. I have a lot of love that I want to share with someone. You know what I mean? And that's what and that's what gives me that hope. And that's what makes me, and that, like I said, that's what keeps me smiling. That's what keeps me, if I see someone, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna let the opportunity pass by just in case.
Yes.
Yeah, I conversate with and again, you just, and I think that's what helps me with just when I smile, that I know I still have hope. I want to be able to just have someone that I can share my time with, that I can spoil, and they can spoil me back.
All right, now I'm gonna give you a shout out at the end, so you can go ahead and
whoop whoop.
You are hilarious. How do you prioritize your own needs and wants while considering a potential partner's needs and wants?
I prioritize my needs by sticking to what I believe in, not compromising. Not compromising, not, I stick to what I believe in, because again, I feel like if the person who I'm pursuing and is pursuing me, if they don't know, Because again, they don't read our minds.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of men, what they want from us is to really be organic about what it is we want, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and to understand that you don't have to, you don't even have to argue your way into not settling. You know what I mean? Because look, we have a phone, and
Right.
it's like if I'm choosing to not be in contact with you, or just or we are contacting each other, we're contacting with each other on just, okay, hey, how you doing? How's your day been?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, well, I have to go. So because you have to cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean, you again, just don't settle.
Okay.
Don't settle no matter what. No matter what. Even if it means that, it's gonna, because if you put too much time and effort into into that person, and you still not feeling, if you're not feeling that, if it's not, that reciprocation is not there,
Mm-hmm.
you're giving off that really great energy towards that person and that interest. If they're not reciprocating it back to you,
Mm-hmm.
let them go. Let them go, because if they're not showing any interest the first date, they're not going to show it on the second date. That doesn't that shouldn't, you shouldn't even let that happen. If they're not showing it on the first date, why would you have a second date with them? You know what I mean? You already got the signal the first time, and you can't just, because next thing you know, you be questioning yourself and say, well, well, maybe I'll just wear something different next time. Something. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah, my mother always told me, if a man wants you, he would do whatever. You don't have to change yourself or make
The
yourself,
first time.
um,
Exactly.
and to
Mm-hmm.
attention or to do things
Yeah.
just to keep him. If he
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm. Because because you're going to, if they see something interesting about you, they're going to want to know more about you.
hmm
So they're going to pursue you.
yeah,
But if it turns into you doing most of the calling, you
hmm
doing most of the texting,
hmm
mm-mm, let it go. And don't be angry, because it's, they're sort of really, they're doing you a favor. They really are, because it's like, yeah, I need for you to move to the left. You
hmm
know what I mean? Because you're blocking my, opportunity for the next right man to come along.
That's true. And
Yeah,
the sad part is there are a lot of opportunists out there
there
where
are.
they want you because of what you can offer and what.
Exactly. Exactly. And it is, and it, again, it is a chance that you take, but that's the reason why the true test is, if they are quote unquote, if they're interested,
Hmm
you still stand your ground. You know what I mean? Because again, when go through a divorce and everything like that, again, that's a time that you're going to be kind of vulnerable,
hmm
especially when that separation from your former spouse is fresh.
hmm
So you can't engage into anything physical
hmm
with that person. You know what I mean? You got to be careful. You know what I mean? Because now you're getting to know yourself again, and you're getting to, you know, understand who you are as a woman, and know your wants and your needs and your desires. You have to make sure that you're not getting yourself into something that's too quick, because we're spending time together, and because I'm lonely, you
hmm
know, just don't settle, and if you talk to God,
hmm
God is listening. I'm telling you, it does help. It does help for me
hmm
to just talk to God. You know what I mean? And I just let it out. I mean, like I said, I could be in my car, I could be in the ladies' room, I could be in the shower, and again, my my daughter be like, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "I'm talking to God."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just helps me. It just helps me. It keeps me grounded in myself.
hmm
You know, in realizing that, because I have, just, I mean, I have a small circle of, girlfriends that, have, good husbands that I consider as like my brother-in-law. You know what I mean? But good husband, good, you know, not, and I mean good, and they love my sisters. Love they love their wives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was going to
And I
ask you
know, yeah,
this.
somebody gonna love me too.
Absolutely. What role does your support system play in helping navigate dating after divorce?
They are excellent listeners.
Mhm.
Um, they don't get into, you know, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. That helps out a whole lot.
Mhm.
Again, like I said, my friend circle, and I have just a few, close knit girlfriends, and I include like even I have I have two nieces that we're almost close in age,
Okay.
so I consider them as girlfriends and everything like that. But the trust that I have, that I can share with them,
Mhm.
you know, the situations that I've gone through, and they're just and they're listening, but they're not giving off that, oh, I knew it, I
Mm,
knew it. They're just listening. They're just listening,
that's great.
Yeah, yeah, and that helps. That
Mhm.
helps. Sometimes, when you are a good friend, just need to, that other person just needs to be the sounding board to just let it out, and it's just good for you to just listen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And friends that encourage me to continue praying.
Mhm.
Don't give up. You know what I mean? You're a great person.
Mhm.
You're a great woman, and God is going to bless you with a good. Because I'm a type. I want the next relationship that I have with someone. I want that person to be my dearest friend,
Mm,
dearest, my dearest friend.
mhm.
You know what I mean? That we're such good friends, and again,
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's healthy, actually. You know what I mean? To
I think it
have
is.
somebody, because this is somebody that you're going to be, especially if you both have decided that, okay, yeah, we're building something. This thing is this, and it's feeling pretty good, and I don't really see myself building something with someone else, especially if that person is pursuing me, and you know, there's no, we're chasing each other. It's not, you know what I mean. I'm calling him saying, well, I thought you were coming over and everything like that. If I have to get to that, deal breaker, deal breaker. I'm
Yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Oh, I had to work.
Mhm.
Okay. That's good. I mean, we all have to work, you know. You did, you know my number, it's, hey,
Mhm.
I mean, a, a simple text, you know what I mean? I just, was just thinking about you. I hope you have a wonderful day. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
that's those, and those are little things.
Yeah.
Those are little things. If you can't give that, hey, that
Mhm.
means that that means that you're not showing any interest in me. And I'm okay with that, because you got to move to the left right now, because I need the space open. I need for you to move on over. You're
That's,
blocking, you're blocking my future guy's view.
it reminds me of this book, Good to Great, and there's a part in there where he talks about the bus. You know that when you get to a certain stop, they have to get off because
That's right.
they're occupying a seat that.
That's right. You're occupying a seat. You're taking up this space, and um, there's no room in this inn. I
Mm.
need this room for I need this room for my significant other that's interested in being spoiled, and interested in, you know what I mean, those, you know
Come on, Miss.
those surprise back rubs. Why?
What?
Because what? Because it's what I want to do.
All
You
right.
know? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So
see.
I know he's out. I know he's out there. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
Hmm. I know he's out there.
I'm gonna see you differently now, Mrs. Ballard. Back rub. Okay. That is hilarious. So, does your children's opinion matter in your dating process?
It does. my children's matter does opinion. I mean, I'm sorry, the opinion does matter. My oldest son, well, my oldest child, my son,
Mhm.
I what I and again, like I said, this is all new for me. So it means it's all new for him too. With okay, my mom is, you know, she's not, she and my dad are no longer together and everything like that. And he, I mean, because when you go through divorce, the kids go through it as well, and it's not easy for them.
Mhm.
It is not easy. But my son is at that age, he's almost 30.
Mhm.
Um, he um he saw how I felt
Mhm.
in what I was going through and everything like that.
Mhm.
But because of the fact that he is um in it, at that age, I feel that it is my responsibility to talk to him as a man
Mhm.
about, look, um, I'm interested in, dating this particular gentleman and everything. They asked me out, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to share that with you because he is an adult. He's my son, but he's still an adult. And in that way that protects me too, because
Mhm.
he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on with me. You know what I mean? I think he would be really frustrated and upset with me if he just didn't know, because my son is very protective,
Mhm.
and so I feel it's my responsibility to share, with him that, because he's protective, you know what I mean? It's because it's me, it's his sister, and, he said, he doesn't, he can't, and if I'm showing the example that I want to make sure that he's okay, that he's protected as well.
Mhm.
I want him to know,
Mhm.
I want him to know. And that's the reason why I will take my time, to, when it comes to actually dating and then finding that person of interest that, okay, it seems like that we're, you know, beginning to mesh.
Mhm.
So I know that it's my responsibility to make sure that I express that to him,
Mhm.
and then to my daughter. I mean, she's young, and of course she loves her father. You know what I mean? She does love him and everything like that, and her father does love her, but we both have to go on with our lives. So yes, I would definitely make sure that I shared, my interest with of dating
Mhm.
someone with my son. Hmm.
How long do you feel you need to date before remarry?
I would not go past a year. I would not go past a year, because that, I mean, if a year is going by and over a year turn, because what after a year, what else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? I mean, if
Right.
you don't know me after a year, and if I don't know you, then yeah, then we have a problem.
I,
We
I,
have a problem.
I feel, I mean, I'm not saying, you date just for 3 months, but within 3 months, the real person usually shows up.
Yeah,
3
the real
months
within 3 months, exactly.
really
Yeah,
shows up, and if that
you
person,
know.
you don't even have to
Hmm.
wait a year.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, okay, well, if you start thinking, well, well, maybe in 5 years and everything, 5 years,
Mm-mm.
what's gonna change in 5 years? Only thing that's gonna change is
Your age.
you won't see me anymore.
Exactly.
That's gonna change.
I'm out.
Yeah, you won't be. Yeah, because that's time that's wasted. And then again, now I don't have time for you to block my. You got to move over.
Shark Tank. Yeah, and for that, I'm out.
Exactly, exactly. Because what are you waiting that long for? Again, I think I'm at that point. No, I'm just not gonna settle.
Mhm.
I'm just not gonna settle.
And men usually know as well if they want to be with that woman.
They do. They do. And it's no, oh mom, oh I'm gonna, oh, I just need to give it some time, and wait a couple of years and everything like that. You can do it if you want to.
But I'm
And
out.
next one come, and he's showing interest.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
shoot, you might get an invitation, be dancing in my wedding. Say, Dad, I should have, I should jumped on it when I had the chance.
True that.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And we can't.
Yeah, don't settle. Don't settle.
We can't
And I
say.
think it's just time. It's just, and even if, and that's whether you get a divorce in your 20s,
Mm-hmm.
in your 40s, or even in your 70s, because it has happened. You know what I mean? People can be in their 70s and say, okay, you know, I'm just not, we're just not equally yoked, and you tried and everything like that. And there's, just
Sometimes
don't
I wonder
settle.
about that. You get to 70 and it's like, where are you going? What happened that you couldn't work it out? Because
Yeah,
we said that, within 5 years, you already started that divorce.
right, right. Yeah. But but I think that's the reason why I think, in my opinion, that's the reason why people need to people need to love each other. There has to be a reason why you love that person, and
Mm-hmm.
a reason why that person loves you back.
Mm-hmm.
you know and it's hard when you see a couple that's been married for over 50 years, and you're thinking, well, what's their secret? You'll never know. And it may have been that maybe they just decided to settle, and and their kids are grown and they're gone, and it's just you and him, and it's like, well, I might as well just go on and stay here and everything like that. I'm not, you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want that in my relationship. I want to grow old with someone that, again, you know what I mean? If, we grow old together, that is what I want. You know what I mean? If that person, God forbid, takes ill, I want to be there to take care of that person
Well,
and
I
still love
know
that
running
person.
backs and stuff. I guess.
Yeah.
I my aunt has been married over 50 years, probably 60 now. But when I asked her this question, how did you stay together so long?
Mm-hmm.
Said it was no longer infatuation. You become friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the infatuation period is over. You're friends.
Yeah.
We all don't want to hurt our friend.
Right.
We have our friend's best interests at heart.
Right. Mhm. Mhm. And I think that's again it's important to grow with that into that type of friendship,
Mm-hmm.
because of course the first time it's infatuation,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a physical, you see that person,
Mm-hmm.
or you're talking to that person, and there's some folks can pick up on a good aura about a person,
Okay.
and can automatically feel that, I can sense that kindness in that person. You know what I mean? But those are people who are kind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those are not people who are trying to put up a shield to say, okay, I'm gonna show my niceness right now, so I can reel her in, you
Three,
know.
3 months,
And
the real
once
person
I
takes
get
over.
that hook on her, it's just like those swordfish that you pull out the water, and when you're pulling them, and they're wiggling back and forth and everything like that. So it's, if you're on that type of pursuit to say, okay, well, I want to get something from her. Why can't we just? The only thing I want from you is your friendship and your respect.
Mhm.
If you can give those two things to me, friendship and respect, we could definitely grow, because I'm going to give you that from my end.
Mhm.
I'm going to give you that from my end. I'm not going to put up, and it's so exhausting to try to put up a front.
It is. That's why in 3 months to 4 months, the real
Exactly.
person
You can't, right. You can't, and if you do, gosh, you're good. If you can,
you deserve an Oscar. Is
I mean, really,
oh,
it's like,
remember Ike? Tina told that to Ike. And
exactly,
he was
exactly.
like
I
a
mean,
old
I
Ike
said,
show up.
within 3 months time, and again, and I know what I went through in my marriage. And again, my thing that was my pit was settling,
Mm,
trying to counsel, trying to,
mm,
you know, be that anchor,
mhm,
you know, and had the opportunity to
mhm,
walk away before I got married. You know what I mean? But,
mhm,
you know, went through the healing process and situations and said, okay, well,
mhm,
you know, maybe he really is trying to change.
mm,
You know, I settle.
mm,
I don't want to settle anymore. I
mm,
really, you know what I mean? And I taught, and again, like I said, if I didn't, if I didn't have my mama and God in my life,
mhm,
you know what I mean? To just, my mom would say, no, she said, when you feeling any type of way, she said, talk to God. She said, yell it out to God. You know what I mean? She said, and she tells me, God is not deaf, but say what you need to say. Talk to God about it,
and he knows.
God knows.
He's usually waiting for us to
Hmm. Yeah.
go and talk to him about it.
Yeah. And
I remember being in a relationship with this young man, and I knew y'all wasn't pleased, but I was afraid to ask him
right. Right.
because I had fallen in love with him, right?
Hmm.
And the minute I asked him, I was like, I'm just gonna ask you, and all hell broke loose. I mean,
Hmm.
in an instant, it was like
0 to 60.
I showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so because of that, the healing process was quick.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was afraid to ask him what did he think because I knew.
Hmm. Hmm. And
He didn't.
I mean, it had to be revealed. It had to be, unfortunately, you know what I mean? In that way was unfortunate, but
Mm-hmm.
imagine, being married to
Mm,
that person
mm.
and then asking after being married, you know, and
That's my hindrance right now. I mean, I desire to be married, uh,
mhm,
but I don't want to be outside of Yah's will. And so whatever His will is, I'm going that way.
right,
That's my
right.
fear is to be outside of His
Right.
will.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so
And
I.
God allows us to come to him,
Mhm,
because I know what I realize is that now, especially now, is
mhm,
that I can say, well, God, I said, just help me be organic
mhm,
about how I feel about asking questions and not being afraid that, will I make this person distance themselves away from me?
mhm.
Because if they distance themselves away from me, then that means that they weren't meant for me.
Absolutely.
And
And
so now
mhm,
I just, I I use that pretty much as my that's part of my that's that extra tool now that I have on my tool belt to be organic and ask those questions, ask questions and just and it makes me feel better to do that. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to get to that point
mhm,
because I didn't, I don't want to get anybody upset. I
mhm,
don't want to rock the boat, you know.
mhm.
And at the same time, I can't even I can't. I mean, when you paddle, you're supposed to have two oars, you know.
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
you can't have someone in the back putting holes in while you
I
paddle,
had
right?
I had one oar, and I'm going around in circles. You
Mhm,
know what I mean? And nothing is changing. So I
mhm.
have no direction. When you have one oar, you
Come on,
just go in a circle.
come
But
on.
when you have two oars, you can
Yes.
go forward, you can go backward, but you move in
Yeah.
you move into a new direction.
Mhm,
One oar, you just going into a circle. And
mhm,
that's what I did 20 years. Wasn't married for 20 years, but settling with
mhm,
this one particular
mhm,
person who actually is my friend.
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
we're friends, but that's the thing. I see now that we are better as friends.
mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
I
That's
mean,
good.
hey, I'm a Princess Charming. I want my Prince Charming.
Come on here.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
want I sure do. Yeah. Never, and mm-mm, too much. I have too much. And that's why, and I feel that way because of God's love, that I
Mm,
have a lot of love in my heart to give. You know what I
mm,
mean? That it's not too late, because God is still here with me.
mhm,
Yeah. So why should I not put myself in a position where I can be open to love? You know, it's something is love is healthy, you
mhm,
know, love and laughter, patience is healthy,
mhm,
kindness is healthy.
mhm,
Those are things that you want in your day-to-day life. Those that's my vitamin C,
mhm,
you know, showing love,
mhm.
showing, being happy. Who has time to be sad all the time? Who has time to
It takes
argue?
energy. It takes a
You
lot of
know,
energy.
over what? We don't have time to be arguing.
Mm-mm.
People are,
Yeah.
people leaving this earth, and you don't have time to get into, to arguments and things like that. It's like, and when it happens like that again, and if it happens over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
that means you're settling.
Mm.
Don't settle. Don't settle. No matter what, because it is a sacrifice. I mean, to be by yourself, and you've been with, what I mean, and dynamics change. Because like I said, my whole dynamics of my home changed.
Mm.
But now, I have to work on, preparations for, like we're talking about that, that I want that income while I'm sleeping.
Come
I
on
gotta
now.
add it in.
Residual
You
income.
that residual. I'll work the physical, because I love being, because it's great exercise. But my goodness, it does help to have that extra, that nested, income coming in, because I don't want to be in a position where someone is telling me I will, you know, well, I won't pay for the car. I'm not going to pay for the car note and everything like that. My cars are paid for. I work hard,
My
you
car
know.
before too.
Yeah,
I want a new one, but I'm like, I don't think I want to go back to the payment business.
I know it's and it's but it feels good to know that you have it, that and it's yours, lock, stock, and barrel. You don't have to because again, and because I think a lot of times, and I'm not saying this only for that is something that men say. I think any individual who feels like that they can exude some type of power
Mhm,
over, okay, well, I bring in this income,
mhm.
are you can't make it off of just your income and everything like that. You know what, we're working it out. I haven't missed any meals yet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
hmm
Mrs. Ballard, it was wonderful speaking.
I enjoyed this. I really did. It was wonderful. And it feels good for me to be able to, express the feelings of, of just having a good life
Mm-hmm.
after, you close one chapter,
All right.
and keep moving on,
Mm-hmm.
and open up a new chapter, and open up this season,
Mm.
and wanting to hopefully have somebody share that with you.
Yes.
I mean, dating, like I said, it's can be scary, it be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You take babies, you have to take baby steps, and that's what I'm doing.
Mm.
I'm not rushing. I'm enjoying just having the sunshine on my face for
Mm.
right now.
I
you
think
know
I think I'm about to go to Kroger's. I
I'm
thought
telling you, go to Kroger.
I thought the meeting place was Home Depot.
I know. Ooh, you can be some pretty fine men at Kroger. I'm telling you, they just come right up to you and say, "Look, I plan on cooking this. Do you think I should have this with this?" And I want to put, I plan,
To the wrong Kroger's.
I know, right?
Yes. I'm at the wrong Kroger's.
I tell you. But hey, it's it works. And you have to look. You just do what works. Have fun with it. You know. Thank God for thank God for having that, for wanting to pursue your happiness. You know what I mean? To wanting to to share your happiness with someone, with the right individual.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do. I want to laugh. I'm too young and honored to get into anything else and battles and things like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to find somebody that I could just laugh with.
That's true. Because I'm shy, introvert,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, but just imagine having somebody that you can just
laugh. Yeah.
that you could just laugh with, because it helps relax you, and you're able to to be open, but then and be and just be organic about the whole situation. Don't hold back anything. You have every right. You have every right to for honesty and openness in the next relationship, and that's pretty much what I want in my life, and it's something that everybody deserves to have. Don't settle.
All right.
Don't settle.
Don't settle.
Mm-mm.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, Miss Harris. It's been a treat. Yes.
What did you say?
It's been a treat. It's been a wonderful treat.
It really has. I enjoyed
Yes.
speaking with you and
Thank you.
giving
Same
us
here.
insight. It was really good.
Yes, and thank you for inviting me to come on and speak. It's been great.
Thank you for accepting. We hope that you'll come back and join us again, perhaps
Absolutely.
or just a one-on-one again. It was great.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Anything before we go that you want to leave with our audience?
Put God first in everything that you do. Put God first. Talk to God.
Absolutely.
When you pray, if you pray out loud, that's wonderful, but talk to God. Open up. Go anywhere. I don't care. In your car, in like I said, in the shower, any place. Talk to God. Be open with God, and you'll start really seeing that when you let that out, all of that feeling that you had is you're going to start seeing things coming to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Put God first. Put God first. God is here. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. Divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Again, divorce once, divorce twice, divorce thrice. God is still here.
Yes, He is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you. We're going to close out. We're not going to have any more shows for the rest of the month, but we will come back in January, starting on our third year. We'll be 3 years, January 6th. So
Awesome.
we're going to take some time to do a little revamping in the background, and that's it. And so enjoy your time, enjoy your week. And remember, it's okay not to be okay, just as long as you don't stay in that place. And
Amen.
So, great
Amen.
evening. Enjoy your holiday season with your family, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Please join us again next week for another riveting, informative segment